So today was my last day as a teenager, 2 big fat decades of life, and I decided to spend these momentous 24 hours acting like the main character in a music video, and failing at that quite a bit, but that's okay, because we don't judge here. It's the effort that counts, right? We start the day on my bed, where I'm reading the philosophical texts that are meant to prepare me for adulthood. Yes, I already passed the 18 mark, but I'm pushing it all off as far as I can, and the last of the teens seems another good excuse to launch into adulthood once again. I'm surprised to say that the texts don't really help, but maybe I was meant to read them throughout my teen years instead of putting all of it off until the eve of my great launch into human society. I'll keep tabs on whether my philosophical notions become more mature throughout the day. Since it's just the morning, they're still simmering. I then spent some time going over the useful notes the creators over at BuzzFeed left me about being a 20-something. I start with a classic. These are the lessons everyone learns in their 20s. I fully intend on learning the lessons before I turn 21 so that I can feel superior and wise beyond my years. Okay, but then it starts getting a little too thought-provoking for light morning reading, so I put it aside for the meantime. I'm sorry, Emmanuel who? I can't with this depressing advice. I then looked outside and found it to be snowing, so I put on my snow boots and called for a parent. My mom answered, so we went for a serene walk to the park. This park that my parents hadn't thought about in nearly 2 decades. But since I've returned to my mom's birthing city, I've spent a lot of time here, and I mean a lot. I awkwardly sit and try to meet people who can't see my face because of the mask, you know? Be safe, kids, and who have a widely different cultural background than me. This park has been the epicenter of social anxiety, natural tranquility, and other things like reading and skateboarding. I watch the skateboarders while reading to appear smoother in that kind of social situation and avoid all sorts of eye contact. When they catch me stare at their falls, I shift my eyes slightly off into the distance, or I sway my head up to the skies, pretending that I am contemplating an important passage or thought-provoking thought. I think it works. I made one friend this way. Today, to feel like the music video character that I was talking about, I wandered around tree trunks and to touch them poetically to see if I could feel more of the divine feminine of being one with nature now that I am becoming a woman. The trees don't talk to me, but they do scare me a little bit because they look like reverse lightning bolts coming out of the ground, like the remnants of a horrific Frankensteinian mistake by modern nature. They also kind of look like their roots come out on both sides, which make me uncomfortable. Right about now, I'm trying to think poetic thoughts, so I remember what a poetic person said about trees. It is not so much for its beauty that the forest makes a claim upon men. It is not so much for its beauty that the forest makes a claim upon man's heart. It is not so much for its beauty that the forest makes a claim upon men's hearts, as for that subtle something, that quality of air, that emanation from old trees, that so wonderfully changes and renews a weary spirit. I remember that I don't agree because the trees still look scary. But Jekyll and Hyde was awesome though, thanks dude. My mom stares off into the distance, thinking about something, possibly not wanting to be filmed. As we leave this significant location, I can feel the teen being left behind. She likes Twilight and Harry Potter, and I don't. Disagree. Tomorrow, I will be 20, which is supposed to mean something big in Turkey. People over 20 can go outside whenever they want during the quarantine, as long as it's not at night, of course. While those under 20 have a strict time window to feel alive and one with nature like I just did. But it turns out tomorrow is a weekend, and nobody can go out on the weekends, so I have to be contented with my inner maturity and wait a few more days for it to be validated externally by pandemic policies.